Hello, this is Brett from Eighth Conclusion. This is at least. For once, I have to play my own music in the background because I keep getting problems with playing other people's music, even when the music is so hard to even know what song it is. So this is a very old song I did myself. It's Rising Trees. This is the studio recording that's playing at the moment. But yeah, Rising Trees from Rapid Alliance. It's my old band, my old song. I have a church recording as well. After the church recording, I have Kicking It. Isn't never got to go further than that. And then I have my other demo that is called You Made My Day. And then one of my newest songs, it's one of my metal songs. It's called Haunted Woods at Daggett Avenue. It's actually pretty cool. Sadly, I probably would never be able to play that song live or anything because that song was so freaking hard to play. And my guitar's not acting the way it was that day for some odd reason. It was two guitars actually that I played in that song, and they're both Jacksons. My other Jackson. I keep forgetting what that model is called. Gotta look at the box. Yeah, I saved the box. There was two acoustics played in this song, Rising Trees. Two types of acoustics. One is a Fender acoustic, which I still have to this day, which is what I'm holding right now. You probably can't see it yet. And then I also had, that's the trick, I had. I don't know what the company was because I had no name on it. All I know is it was made in Japan. Manufactured probably in Japan, and it was a nice guitar. It was a nylon electric though. Yeah, the one I have currently. It's the Fender Malibu California Series 77, I believe, is the year. Reading from the serial number now. It's an old trick I learned. I need practice on it though. The trick. So yeah, hopefully YouTube doesn't think that this song that's playing in the background right now is someone else's, because I made this song a few years back. It was hard, really hard to get this down. I actually learned how to play this way in guitar learning game, actually. You still have the disc. Can't find one of the discs that came with it, which is the Windows install disc. I only can find the Mac one, which I can't use because I don't have a Mac. I have a Windows desktop, which is what I'm using at the moment. I have a originally a Windows laptop, but it's now Linux based. Some Zorin OS 9 Lite. Check it out. ZorinOS.com, I believe. I'm not sure if it was .com. I haven't actually visited the site for a while, but check it out. Completely free for the Lite ones, of course. But yeah, it's really nice. But I would dual boot with Windows or something like that, not just Zorin. I learned that lesson. I really just kept Windows 10 on my laptop. Yes, I should at least have put the Zorin on my desktop instead of my laptop, if anything. So, because I had Windows 10 on my laptop after a while, because I originally had Windows 7, then I put Windows 10 on it. Windows 10 is free if your current operating system is a specific Windows already on there. Like I think Windows 7 and Windows 8 and Windows 8.1. I cannot do it with Windows Vista, which sucks because Windows Vista sucks originally, and sucks even more that I can't. Unless I download the disk from a different Windows computer and then use the disk to put Windows 10 on here. It's the only way that would have worked. Now I should have done that. I lost the disk. I also lost the Zorin disk I did. Yeah, don't mind the horrible part of the song right now. It was one of the musicians in the band that just didn't do it right. Because the guy that was actually in the band was out sick, so I had someone else that was actually teaching the play. But he has a habit of disobeying how I got him to play. So after a while, in this part, I started doing it with him, so that way it doesn't sound as bad. I did the part at the end. Oh, that sounded like him. This is the church recording now, though. To be honest, I prefer that one the most, especially because the parts that went bad sounds better when we did it live. You know why? Well, he obeyed. He really wanted to play it when we were doing live, although we had the actual musician with us when we did it live at the church. Certain parts in the recording, if you listen very hard, you can hear some of the people in the background talked. It didn't last long. They started to shut up for us. So let's restart this track so you can hear that. Hopefully. Yeah. But anyways, here's my Kicking It song. If we play. It's very old. That's what I did in there as well. And then I also got the A minor. I even moved the A minor down the neck to have like a sourish sound. Not exactly sure what spot on the neck it did then, but I had this kind of idea going on. Alright, this song to work on. So you made my day. I actually had a couple of people making my day the day I actually did this song. So many people just made my day. That's for sure. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do a song about it. No vocals or anything. It's just awesome jamming out kind of song idea. It wasn't long because it was originally was just to jam out, have fun, and then I turned it into a actual song I was gonna do, and I only got up to the point where it was just a demo still, so it didn't last long. Sadly, The Haunted Woods at Dagen Avenue on the Windows Media Player. So is my newest song, Tears of Fire, the original and the bonus. But I actually did a nice way to work on that problem. Let's do that. Let's play the newest song. It's the original one. Now, for the record, for a song to be good enough, you have to use a really, really professional guitar. Now, it can get a fair, nice sound for a song out of, like, more like this Jackson Flying V, my other Jackson right here. They're pretty good for middle, mostly. But for this song, I used this nice, awesome Fender, which I nicknamed the Master Guitar. Plus, it was my father's, and he's like a master compared to a lot of things. And I had it plugged into my Marshall amp. It's a MG15 CD series. It's actually nice. I used that amp plugged into an old Tascam Pocket Studio DP, or I'm not sure if it was DP, but 004, so it's the fourth one. I have the most oldest one of the Pocket Studios, but it's not working at all. It won't turn on. Some of the switches and buttons are screwed up. I have to actually use like a knife or a pair of scissors or something to get into that slot to actually use the blade to push the switch, you know, or to move the switch up or down. You know, sometimes I can. At the time to do that, I could use my pinky to move it, but my pinky is a little fatter now, so I can't do that. But yeah, this really nice Fender here. I'm not sure what the model number was and such. The model number is back here, but the model name, you know, still made in Mexico, but it's like the quality and such, how beautiful it is. It's like it's made in the U.S. To me, at least. And I guess to my father, it was really good enough, because he had this in a lot of songs. Now, if you're wondering what the main chord was in this song, little hints on tabs here. It was this note. And then I did this modification after a couple of times. At the end, I did. I've been working on a song with this note, this note right here, for at least almost 2 years or so. And I'm finally actually doing the song. So let me pause the actual song real quick. Put my amp on. That sounded weird. Sounded like the sound was coming right out of the computer speaker, yet it's not even connected to the computer at all. Weird. So that's that part. I'm really remembering correctly. To be honest, once I remember it all fully and such, I should write down. But there was this chord in there. Let's give you a really good look here, as much as I can. My pinky is out of commission for it. Okay, so keep that in mind. The pinky is not being used. That's why I'm curling it over, away from it. So yeah. This, you most likely don't know it. Okay. But I use that a lot. Just listen to it. I think of it as like a modified A minor, because when I put this finger minor, release it, boom, I'm already there. Move it around for certain sounds, like this one. Also sometimes modify even more by going like this. hit the very bottom E, and I flick it off, so hammer on and off, and then hammer on to for the A minor. So I did do. Don't think I use a half C, but I do remember using the full C here. So. So let's listen. Let's see if you can pick up what I'm saying. So go back a little bit here. Oh yeah, now I remember. Yeah, because I took something from an older song and placed it in there for a new song, which is, well, of course, well, Tears of Fire, yeah, Tears of Fire. It was like I almost forgot my own song's name. Well, it's not new. It was like 2 nights ago. So yeah, I actually was originally just going to do this. I think I did incorporate it in there somewhere, but this is what I did. It's like a modified version of that. So take this finger off, okay? Take this finger off, place this finger where this one was, okay? This finger goes here on the very bottom E in the same box, which is the third box. Well, second box if you count this one as the first, which I do most of the time. When it comes to tuning, I usually count the 0 as 1 for standard E tuning, you know. Count it 2. Sometimes I automatically already know what spot, but sometimes I forget. So to remember, I go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, it works because my tuner actually does tell me that it's in tune when I do it that way. Most of the time, it does not if I count the 1 as a 1 and count from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know? So let's listen to how that sounds from here. Okay. Now, from where I normally tune it from, which is where this was last tuned from, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. For my ears, that's in tune for standard E. Of course, I can check it with my tuner, which I will do. But anyway, this is what I was just doing. Just putting this tuner on. Here, I'll show you. This one right here. Actually, it's pretty futuristic if you ask me. Here, watch this. goes vibration mostly. So. E. Well, it's supposed to be nice. It's not exactly correct if put it there, of course. It's never be right. So I'll clip it there. Clip it there. Putting it where I can see it. Get my pick. Of course, I check it with a pick and without a pick. So, yeah, it's a little out, but not much. It's still on an E on this top string here. Well, I know spell as the top and this top as the bottom. I really don't understand that. Makes more sense for a lefty, to be honest. But this is my sense of a righties. So, dead on E. A is dead on. D is dead on. G's almost dead on. Due to the fading out, though, is the reason why it isn't straight dead on. Okay, now the G's dead on. B's almost dead on. It's a little messed up there. Okay, now the B is dead on. Now, how about the high E? It's dead on. Changing on me. It's so good. Yeah. So now let's listen to how that sounds. Counting the 0 as the 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now let's count the 1 as the 1. Count from there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. 1, make sure I didn't mess up. Okay. Now, for what I use as the way to tune it. The other 5 from counting from 1. My 5. The other 5. Close. Now, my 5. The other 5. 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 And that's how I do it. So yeah, of course this video didn't start the way I was really planning. I did plan most of it, but yeah, let's jam a little bit here. Doesn't work when I go up. When I try to pinch harmonics. Certain spots it does, but not all the time, even in those same spots. Of course, my volume is actually on 3 now. 3. I'm not using even a pedal for distortion. I'm using the built-in one. Now, here's a neat trick for drop D tuning, with the rest of the strings being still set for a standard E, which I use for things like this. It's mostly just that kind of thing, but it sounds terrible when this string right here, this string, is at standard D. So when I want to move it to drop D without using a tuner, especially when I don't remember how it looks for drop D on the tuner, sometimes it just realizes it's the drop D. So better off putting in clean though, to be honest, because it's easier to notice. There we go. I had to switch because it was kind of hard to really tell. But there we go. I'm in drop D, with the rest being standard D. Now let's go back to my overdrive, distortion, whatever, and put that all the way down. Still on volume 3, so I like to use the top when I do that. Now, when I usually do this, I actually put in my pedal So let's do that, because it sounds a lot better, to be honest. Yeah, because my other wire is actually pretty small. I actually can't put it on the floor, the pedal. Sad as that is. And then the same thing on the bottom.
Up on the volume. This one. Now the big difference that you just heard is this button on my amp. I keep forgetting what's actually called. Hold on. I'm sitting on another amp, so I'm a little higher up than my marginal amp. Okay, it's called FDD. Keep forgetting what that even means too. But the FDD, I just turned that off. You turn it back on, and still have my guitar volume on 7. Yes, 7. It's gonna be this loud. What was on 3? So I was originally on 3. 7. 8. 9. 10. Back to 3. Now, my tone was actually on 4, I believe. See the alignment? Yeah, 4. And then my second tone technically it's 5, but mostly it's in between 5 and 6. So it's in between 5 and 6. And at the moment, this toggle here is all the way up. Here's all the way on the bottom. Here's all the way up on top. And I also did use the half all the way on the bottom. I think mostly just a Fender feature that could go in the inches of each kind. So very bottom, almost on the very bottom, dead center, almost all the way on the top, all around the top. So yeah, on my Marshall amp, settings is at, get in a better position to tell you that. Okay. Now, I just used my OD select, which is the distortion I was using. And after a while, I actually used my OCD full tone OCD guitar distortion pedal, which in the back, it tells you what it means. Okay, OCD, obsessive compulsive drive. Hell yeah. Oh, and the settings on that. Yeah, I also did move this right here down a couple of times. That was just doing all that. Here's the one I also used. Now for the amp, I extremely rarely ever turn off my FDD. So that's on, regardless, with and without my OD select. The clean volume is 1, 2, 3, in the middle of 3 and 4. The overdrive is almost in the middle of 7 and 8. That's for the gain on the overdrive section. Now the volume on the overdrive section is in between 0 and 1. Now the equality, the EQ, the bass is 4, 5, 6, almost in the center of 6 and 7. It's more on 6. The contour, all the way on 10. The treble, almost slightly past the 8. So yeah, that's the settings I use. Here's my tremolo. I use this quite oftenly as well. It's one of my oldest ones I've ever gotten of guitar pedals. It's not the oldest one, but it's the second oldest. And it's the oldest I currently have. My first one I've ever gotten, I don't have it anymore. I missed that one. That was really nice. It was like all the pedals I have right now, almost. It had tremolo. It had good distortion. Not as good as this one, of course, but it was actually kind of close, to be honest. It was more like overdrive and not distortion. Although the D does go for drive on this, but it's distortion.
had also vibrato on there. I had vibrato, tremolo, distortion, well, overdrive, and compressor. It was kind of like a compressor. Once you turn all those on, it compresses it in. And once the compressor is turned on, you can turn one of the others off without turning the compressor off. It was first step. Sadly, I did not have this pedal. I really need to deep clean this pedal. That's for sure. But this pedal, I'm pretty sure all of you know about the Crybaby wah pedal. It's an old model. Heavy as hell though. So yeah, it's the Dunlop Crybaby model GCB 95. So this unit can be operated with a 9-volt battery and or Dunlop ECB003 adapter. I use 9-volt batteries on all my pedals. As sad as that is. Which means I only could use one at a time. With the setup I have, at least. Okay, where was it? When the adapter is not being used, the battery life will be extended by unplugging the cable from the instrument jack when the pedal is not in use. Gotta keep that in mind. This is where the battery goes. Don't have one in there right now. Let it go. Put another one in. I got a battery, 9-volt battery, in my full tone. I got a 9-volt battery in my tremolo sound tank from Ibanez. Here's another type of pedal I do have. It's not a sound pedal, and I think it's mostly for like keyboards, but it wasn't designed even for a real instrument, to be honest. So yeah, but it's nice when it comes to like when you need to swap through clean and then to your distortion. You know, sadly though, I have this jack, but I do have a way. Right? I have a mixer board for safekeeping, so I don't lose it again. I have this. Small jack, like a headphone jack size, to the big size. You can put your headphones in there directly, but you can also put this in because it's the same one. There we go. Boom. Now once you do that, you can plug this right into your amp. Be honest though, you can't put it where the other pedals would be plugged in, which is the same where the guitar would be put in. Okay, you need to put this right in the emulated line out. I believe that's the one. Let's see the difference. If any. I haven't even used it in so long. I just brought it back in the house not too long ago. There's the pick. one of my most favorite picks. Keep forgetting what company it's from though. It's worn off, so you can't see it at all if it even existed there. I had it for so long. This is actually my favorite pick. Yeah, if it looks green to you, the spots where it may look green to you, it's actually red. It's red, black, and red. Both sides. Even on the corners, it has black and white on there. But this side actually does contain a small amount of the red on the side. The red is bleeding on this side. Okay, the black and the white, and that's the very tip where it makes contact to the guitar. It also has all the colors right on here on this side, you know, where your thumb and finger goes. But yeah. No difference yet. Check that out. Nope. Maybe if I plug into my full-tone OCD pedal, right? Plugging in that on the input maybe, and then have to be honest, I don't exactly know how I did it. Plus, this is not the amp. It doesn't even have the slot for it. Let's check the one I'm sitting on, because I have done it on this one before. Let's check that. Let's see where that goes. Plus, I think I did have a third wire at the time, which was, where's that? All right, so there's a speaker one, okay, and then have pedal, you know, the main wire is input. Let's shut that away. Now, the other side is on guitar. Now, a little orangish red one. I keep forgetting what the actual color is. It's kind of hard to tell. Some lightings. Yeah. Put this one, the main jack on the guitar spot for the amp, and then the other side of that wire goes into the output on the OCD, full-tone OCD. Now, this amp is actually not plugged in, so I'm going to have to plug that in. Let's see if this does anything. So old, it probably doesn't even work anymore, even if I plug in the right way and such. Oh, that's actually pretty silent. Huh.
Okay, put it in the other one where it shows a picture of headphones, but okay. Nope. Swap. Let's put the orangish red wire into the speaker jack instead. Okay. And then the other pedal that I have here into the guitar slot. Let's try that. Nothing. Let's try this. Okay. Let's put the full-tone OCD into the speaker one, and then the guitar into where you're supposed to put it. Nothing. Weird. I'm trying to figure out a way around it. To be honest, I actually have no idea how I did it in the past. This, even in this amp, probably doesn't even contain it. I'll do another video when I figure that out, which is probably going to be the same day as today when this video is done. Because I have a casing of an amp with a bass speaker, but the case, the amplifier case actually is the original owner of the speaker in this amp. This is actually the bass amp with a guitar speaker in it with how the wires are plugged in to each other. Works incredible, actually. It's nothing like my Marshall, of course. And actually, I can't really remember what the brand of this amp is. I took the labeling off, that metal-looking plastic label of the company off, because I wanted to put that on my door, you know, hang that up. I was going to do that with the other one, too, actually. For a nice thing, I should actually play the guitar through this old amp of mine as well, actually. But let you hear it. Let's hope I don't put you to sleep, because the stuff I play is nothing like the stuff you normally would hear from me, at least. It's like soundscape stuff. I have done that, of course, and you probably heard those tracks, but we'll see. Volume. Alright, let's turn that off so I can plug my tremolo back in.
I use the tremolo for even better effect. Although the amp is actually incredible without the tremolo. Even for exact same thing I'm doing. Output. Input. Turn that back on. Now without the tremolo. Now this is my favorite setup here for this amp. Well, second favorite. My first favorite is a different setup on the tone. But I do not feel like changing that right now because I am worried that I'll screw up by not remembering the way I put it. So yeah. I'm going to put the tremolo back on, but I'm going to change how much tremolo is being used. That's too fast. Of course, it doesn't sound that great even without the tremolo in with for the spots for the actual notes. With this amp, of course, it's just the way I wanted it to be. Because what I want to do for me, you know, let's put this here. Gotta tune it to drop C.
See how that sounds on this amp? Not that great. A lot of what I just did, though, sounded terrific on this amp, because that's what it was made to do. The way I had it put. Now, on my Marshall amp, even in this spot. Now, I mostly on the electric use drop D. On my acoustic, I mostly use drop C for the same exact tune. But because I'm on the electric, I gotta tune it back to drop D. The reason why I even went to better and drop C on this amp, the one I was just using before, that I just switched back to the Marshall from, but it still doesn't sound that great. The non-Marshall amp I have. Now, this is just an easier and faster way to get back to the drop D. Of course, I actually don't really need the tuner to do it. I actually just getting to the D and then I'm doing it without the tuner. Now checking with the tuner. Okay. Now, let's do this. Oops.
There we go. Now, that song is just mostly played on my acoustic, though, so it's definitely going to sound better on there. Plus, I wrote it on my acoustic. So, I'll show you how it sounds on the acoustic. Okay, perfect. Well, when I use drop D, like on my electric, it sounds like this. I'll do both. Get very precise, it is actually incredibly hard on the acoustic for what I'm doing, but it's a really nice song. It really is. It's a really nice tune. It's just, although that what I'm doing with this hand here, it seems so easy, but it really actually isn't. Especially, it's mostly just to make sure you get it precisely. You know, you don't get that sound there, you know, or that buzz. Right. It's not showing itself now. buzz. Yeah. Now there has been so many changes to it within. But when I even came up with the idea, I was actually in a cemetery, a graveyard. I'm not quite sure what happened to even spark the idea, the invention of the tune. It was originally in drop D like this, of course. Then I moved on to drop C, which I did say I was going to play in that. Okay. To be honest, I prefer using this pick for it. Okay, it's actually first stacked guitar pick. And so this is the one I just put down. Okay. For metal, I use this one when I'm going fast. When I do my speeding type fast motion solos, this is the pick I use. You know, for that idea. Of course, on the electric, on acoustic, not such a great idea, unless I would use this guitar pick when I do it this way, though. It's right here on the acoustic. It's here on the electric. Raise. See, I can make it acoustic guitar sound more like a bass. Is drop C, A, D, G, B, E. Just don't use the G. No, you can use G. Don't use the B and don't use the E. Just use the drop C, the A, D, and you can use the you can use the G. Here, this is one time using the G as well. I would suggest the G, of course, as you can hear, if you do it the way I'm doing it. E, A, D. Yeah, the G is my favorite one for that technique. As you can kind of tell here. Only works if this is drop D, drop C, but that was kind of fun. Well, as the title says, and as I said in the beginning, and also it says on the title, this is Greg from 8th Conclusion number 2. Try through. So I can't do it exactly correctly. From 8th Conclusion number 2.